Even science isn't perfect, and sometimes mistakes are made. Welcome to my new semi-regular series, Oops, When Science Screws Up, that explores recent concerning yet hilarious science screw-ups. First, the International Space Station has begun releasing satellites without permission. 32 small satellites known as CubeSats were delivered to the International Space Station in July. Eventually, 100 of these satellites will be released to gather detailed, real-time images of the Earth and make them available for free on the Internet. Earlier this month, ISS Commander Steve Swanson noticed that the CubeSat launcher doors were open. He alerted Mission Control, which confirmed 2 satellites had already been released. This is the second time this has happened. On August 23rd, 2 other satellites were unintentionally released. So of the 12 satellites launched so far, the ISS has launched 1/3 of them without being told to do so. Next, we have the incident that sparked perhaps the best headline of the summer. Russia loses control of Gecko sex experiment satellites. So it turns out we know very little about mating in space, especially how microgravity affects the process. If we choose to send more humans into space or even build colonies on other worlds, it is inevitable, which is why we need to know more about the effects. So Russia decided to do some research by sending geckos into space for 2 months in order to observe their mating behavior. Unfortunately, Russia lost contact with the satellite about a week after launch, prompting John Oliver to introduce the hashtag #GetThoseGeckos. Russia eventually regained control of the satellite and it was returned to Earth last week, but unfortunately all of the geckos died. Finally, one that is quite concerning. The National Institutes of Health has been combing its labs for improperly stored hazardous materials after scientists found vials of smallpox dating from the 1950s that had been stored and forgotten in one of NIH's labs. So what else have they found in this investigation? Nothing too serious, just a century-old container of ricin and some samples listing pathogens that cause botulism plague, tularemia, and a rare infection known as melioidosis. Also last week, the FDA found an improperly stored pathogen that can cause food poisoning. All of these were found in intact bottles and proposed no risk. They've since been relocated, but there's something concerning about people forgetting they have these samples. Anyway, that's all the stories for today. If you have any funny science screw-ups that you'd like me to cover, let me know so I can include them in the next episode.